Today is December 17th, 2018. My name is Joe Todd. This is an interview with Roger Weil in Copan, Oklahoma. Sir, where were you born?
Born in Parsons, Kansas, November 12, 1948.
1948.
Yeah.
Who is your father?
Henry E. Weil
And your mother?
and Beulah Francis Weil.
What was her maiden name?
Wells.
I'm sorry?
Wells, W-E-L-L-E-S,
Okay.
I believe, I'm not sure.
Did you go through school in Parsons?
Nope.
Nope.
Went to Edna and then went on to Altamont.
Edna and where?
Altamont,
Altamont. Okay. You graduated what year?
1966.
1966. What kind of work did your father do?
Farmer.
Farmer. What chores did you do in the farm?
Mine.
Yep.
Oh, I feed calves, I milk cows, bale hay, haul hay, you name it. Whatever needs to be done, I've done it.
How big was the farm?
320 acres.
Was it at Edna?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What tractor did you have?
We had a M International, 8N Ford, and later on we got a 4000 Ford.
What was the main crop you raised?
Mostly corn silage,
Okay.
sometimes sorghum.
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 You make sorghum?
Nope.
Nope.
Feed the cows.
Yep. Okay. Okay. You played sports in high school?
No.
Okay. Who was your favorite teacher?
I would say that would have been Mr. Howell. He was a history teacher
Why was he your favorite?
because he taught me how to study properly. He was also an admiral in the Navy in World War II.
What did you do for recreation in high school?
Milk cows. wasn't no recreation. There was always something to do.
How far was the farm from Edna?
It'd be about a little over 2 miles.
2 miles.
Yeah.
How'd you get to school?
Well, I walked. Mom and Dad took me, picked me up. I rode my bicycle. After I don't know, about the 6th grade, I rode my bicycle.
Okay. What did you do after high school?
Oh, I worked on down in Oklahoma City and worked on Angus Ranch. Then I went to back east, worked on another Angus Ranch, and I come back, went 1 semester of school, went to Fort Scott and worked as a welder, Haley arc welder. Then I come back down to Edna and went to work for the railroad, and then I went to the Army.
When did you join the Army?
I did. They drafted me in October of '69. October the 31st.
31st. Where'd you go for your basic training?
Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
How'd you travel to Fort Jackson?
Part of the time, I think we flew probably into Columbia, into Atlanta or Columbia. But later on, I remember coming home, we rode the bus home, I rode the bus back. It was a long ride, I guarantee you.
Tell me about basic.
Just basic training.
What type of training did you have?
It's just, after basic, I went to
No,
AIT.
in basic, what type of training in basic?
We had, how do I want to say it? We had your M16 training, and we marched. We had the obstacle course. We had night fire.
You want bivouac?
Funny you say that. Yeah, we went on bivouac. We were supposed to, I forget what we was going to do. We were supposed to be up at 5 o'clock the next morning or 6 o'clock. I woke up in broad daylight. I crawled out of that two-man tent, 6 inches of snow on the ground. So we went back in. Never did.
Basic lasted how long?
I want to say 8 weeks, but being through Christmas, we was there. We went home for 10 days to 2 weeks,
Okay.
and we come back for 2 weeks.
Was basic geared toward Vietnam?
Do what?
Was basic geared toward Vietnam?
No.
Did you talk about Vietnam in basic?
Most of the time, no. We did some, but not much.
Okay.
We didn't do that until we didn't even really do it. Well, a few did in AIT.
Where'd you go for AIT?
Went to Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Fort Knox, Kentucky. What'd you do at Fort Knox?
I was put in the Armored Division, M48 tanks.
M48. How did AIT compare to basic?
You know, it wasn't a whole lot of difference between the two. AIT wasn't strict, maybe, I don't know. But then after AIT, I went on to Sheridan School.
Now, what's a crew of an M48?
The crew, 4-man crew.
4-man.
You got a driver, a loader, a gunner, and a TC.
TC.
Tank commander.
Okay. And you were trained to do which one?
I was trained to do all of them.
All of them. Okay. Then you said you went to Sheridan's?
Yeah.
What's the difference between an M48 and the Sheridan?
Sheridan's M48 probably run 32, 38 mile an hour. Sheridan run up to 60. Yeah. And the biggest difference was the maneuverability of a Sheridan. You're talking 48, 50 ton, 55 ton, I forget, 20, 25 ton.
What's the designation of a Sheridan?
XM551.
XM551.
I don't know whether they ever, in fact, I know they didn't, it was still XM when they went to the Bradley.
Yeah. Now, what's the crew of the Sheridan?
It's the same 4 loader,
Same
driver,
four.
loader, gunner, and commander.
What gun does the M48 have?
M48 had a 90 millimeter,
And the Sheridan?
had a 152.
152 millimeter?
Yep.
Why 152?
Because they had a big round we shot, a can round.
Okay.
Had 1,000,000 flechettes in it.
Yes. But it wouldn't be a 155?
No.
Why wouldn't they have a 155 so you interchange rounds?
155 is artillery round.
Yeah, yeah.
And we was mostly, we didn't have a delayed detonated round. We had a heat round and a can round, 2
Okay.
rounds.
Okay.
Some of the guys said at first they had a heat round. I think they did have the heat round, but we didn't fight other tanks, so we didn't need one.
Yeah.
We needed HE,
High explosive.
high explosive round.
How long did AIT last?
It was 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Sheridan School was 4 weeks.
4. Where was Sheridan School?
Fort Knox.
Oh, Fort Knox. Okay.
Yeah.
After Sheridan School, where'd you go?
Went to Vietnam. Went to Oakland, Ben Hall, Saigon, whatever the name of that Air Force base. Benoit. Ain't that right there at Saigon?
Well, that's at Thompson Newt's at Saigon.
Yeah.
I think Benoit's north of Saigon.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was pretty close together.
Okay.
Then I went to Quan Tri Province.
Tell me about flying to Vietnam.
Oh, shit. We went to Hawaii. We laid over 3 or 4 hours in Hawaii. Why? We were supposed to be on direct flight. We laid over 3 or 4 hours in Hawaii, and then we flew directly into Saigon, or into Benoit.
Yeah.
It was just, God, it seemed like it was forever.
When you're on the airplane taking off from Oakland, what were you thinking?
What was I thinking? I have no idea.
So when you got to Vietnam and opened the door on the airplane and you got out, what was your reaction?
You know, I don't know whether I even have a reaction. It's just, you're there.
Yeah.
You're just there. You do what you're told to do what you had to do, and you go home. If you screw up, you don't go home. You go home in a pine box. That was pretty well in Sheridan School. Well, even back in basic, Fort Knox, at Sergeant Knox, and this be 1 or 2 times he or Sergeant Peterson talked about Vietnam. He said the guys that's been there 6, 8, 9 months, he said you listen to every word they say. He said these notes you're taking here, he said take them with you. They make good toilet paper. That's what he told me. But that very few times, when I got my orders to leave basic training, Sergeant Peterson, I think his name was Peterson, I'm pretty sure it was grinning at me, and he said, "Did you get what you wanted?" I said, "I got armor." He said, "I knew you was going to armor the minute I read your deal." Yeah, I said, "You did?" He said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Anybody put down drive farm trucks and tractors to go to armor." He said, "That's just the name of the game." And that's the way it went. And I don't remember too much about it, other than I'm here, I make the best of it, I go home.
So when you got off the airplane, what was the weather when you got off the airplane at Benoit?
It was late May, it was in between monsoons, it was in a cool down. But right about that time was the cool part of the year, but then you get on a month later and you burn up.
So what unit were you assigned to?
I was assigned Charlie Croup, 3-5 Cav of the 9th Division, attached to the 1st and 5th MAC.
The 1st, the 5th?
1st and 5th MAC. Mechanized infantry.
Okay. What'd you do over there?
I started out, I was there 4 or 5 days, maybe a week in my platoon, 1st platoon. The driver of the PC that I was assigned to went out to take a dump. He just picked up a rifle, went out there, took his dump, coming back, he pulled the trigger and blew his toe off.
Blew what?
Shot his toe off. So he was medevac when we didn't have no more drivers. And then the TC drove PC a day or 2. I said, "Why don't you let me drive? I can drive that." I said, "I can drive anything the Army's got." And he said, "Oh," he said, "I couldn't do that. You haven't been here long enough." I said, "What's that got to do with it?" And I don't know what the deal was, but the PC had to be moved, so I moved it.
PC, personnel carrier?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I moved it where it needed to be, and the lieutenant was we had TC, and then the LT was on the PC. And he said, "Who moved that PC?" And I said, "I did." And he moved, so I moved it. And I said, "I can start driving any time." He said, "You ever drove one before?" And I said, "No." He said, what makes you think you can drive it? I said, OJT, on the job training. He said, well, you can drive it tomorrow. Well, I drove it about 5-6 days and hit a landmine. And the TC and him went back to check my tracks. They said I was in track when I hit the landmine.
What were you driving?
PC.
PC. Is that a track vehicle?
Pardon?
Is it a track vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I drove it a month maybe. One of the guys on the Sheridans had to come home, and they moved me to the Sheridan then because they had other guys coming in that could drive.
Okay.
And so I went to the Sheridan then. I was serving as a loader for 3 weeks, 2 or 4 weeks, and I went to driving. I drove for 2 or 3 months. And then I went tank commander. And then I was on the platoon sergeant tank. Well, I either drove the platoon sergeant tank, or I was TC on it. Finally, I decided I wanted to go over with some friends of mine and drive for them. He was the driver and he got promoted, so I went there. I drove for him. Then he went and we hit a landmine. He got blew out of the cupola and thought he was done. And I moved to TC and I started training drivers. And I did that, and in Operation Lam Son, they brought all them guys back out. I went back to driving.
What operation?
Operation Lam Son.
Lawn?
Lam Son.
Okay, Lam Son.
Yeah. It was the last major operation we was on. And I don't remember my friend was on my mine sweep that day. My friend Spec 4 stopped us. I was driving. And he stopped us, and I thought he went back and got an M60 machine gun, but he said he just had an M16. He sprung an ambush. And we sat there, we fired a 10 round 50 for a little while, and they said we had to go through. We couldn't go back. But we went through. And I don't know what happened to my TC, but I know he was wounded. I know, shrapnel. I figured it was shrapnel. And we come out the other side and had to go through a creek and go up a hill. Well, the guys on the tank with me, I couldn't get up the hill. They all got off. My loader, and I'm thinking the TC, he was still on it when we slipped down, and they went on up the hill. I think he got hit with shrapnel after. I think he got hit shrapnel when I took the RPG. And anyway, I made 2 attempts and missed, couldn't get up the hill. On the 3rd attempt, I took a direct hit with the RPG in the left corner of the driver's hatch. And it picked me up, blew me over. And I blacked out. I was out. Next thing I remember was coming out the top of the hill. And all the guys in my platoon was coming back to get me out of the tank. And they were diving out of the way. And I put the tank in where it needed to be, and dust offs were coming in. 2, 3 dust offs were coming in. Helicopter gunships was already there. I first air cav, and then the B-15s come in behind the helicopter gunships. I think it was B-15, B-16, something like. I think they had B-15s because they grounded the 16s. They come in, and when I got up there and got the tank, I crawled up through and got behind the 50 caliber, and I stayed behind the 50 caliber machine gun for 7 or 8, 9 hours. Finally, our troop commander come. He was brand new, coming to our platoon. His name was Carr, if I remember right. And our old troop commander was with him. They was making the transition. And I remember him hollering at me on the radio when they was coming on the helicopter in. He asked me, he said, how much is left on your tank? I said, just me. The rest of them are gone. And he said, have you fired your main gun? I said, no. He said, don't fire it till you see them. By that time, the C-15s were coming in. The helicopter gunships were still there. The artillery was coming in. I had artillery hit from here to that tree in front of me. He hit, just kept hit there, and I mean, kaboom, 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 out away from me. They had my position. That was something. He gave them my position, and they just kept firing. And the only time they stopped firing was when the gunships come in, or the 50 or the 15s. 3 o'clock in the morning, Major Stevens said, we don't got nobody, can you stay the rest of the night? I said, I can stay here until somebody. And finally, about 6 o'clock, they got people in from another platoon, and they was afraid to take any of them people away from them other 2 platoons, or 3 platoons, because there was another platoon out there too. And bring to us, we like 6 of us, or maybe 8. And I'm still thinking that 2nd Sheridan got through, but I don't know. And nobody to this day. I know my Sheridan got through, a PC got through, and I'm thinking that Sheridan was number 3. I'm thinking it was over there. But,
was this in Operation Lam Son?
Yeah.
Okay. Where was that in Vietnam?
That was the old brick road from the rock pile to Caisson.
Okay. When did that happen?
I want to say that happened in around the first, happened late February, early March. Because I think we come out of there, and it could have been the end of March. It's sometime in March.
March of what year? 60?
That's 71.
71. Okay.
After that night, we got more people in. I'll never forget Sergeant Hud.
Who?
Sergeant Hudson, Black E7. One of the best platoon sergeants I ever had. He'd been there, that was his third or fourth tour. And he was a dandy. He never asked me to do nothing he wouldn't do himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason I was on his tank.
Yeah.
When he left, that's when I moved. Well, I moved once, and I come back and forth, and we started getting E6s in, so it pushed me out, and that's when I went back to the platoon sergeant's tank as the tank commander, and I was having to train more drivers.
Where was your base camp?
The base camp was Don Hall.
Don Hall.
Yeah.
Way up north.
Way up.
Yes.
Been to Alpha 4. They always talked about going to Camp Evans, but we never went to Camp Evans. We stayed in the backyard mostly. On Charlie 2 and Alpha 4. Then we went up there, Operation Lam Son.
Were you at Quang Tree?
Pardon?
Were you at Quang Tree?
Yeah, at Quang Creek Province.
Okay.
Yeah. Don Hall was north.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, 10, 12 miles.
That's getting close to the DMZ, isn't it?
Getting close.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you fire those rounds that had the little darts in it, the flechettes?
I never fired one, no.
Okay.
My commander did.
Yeah.
That day we got ambushed down there, he did. And I'll never forget what they said. They said, two Sheridans and one PC held off a battalion of NDA. That's 250 men. And 101st Airborne come in there and they went down. And he said, not many got away. He said, it's just when we held them long enough for the gunships to get there. When the gunships got there, I can't believe how fast them 15s or 16s, whatever they were, got up there from Don Hall. No, it wasn't Don Hall.
Is that the F-16? Yeah.
I can't remember where they was at. I thought they was at Don Hall, but they may have been someplace else. And I mean, it just banged and they was there.
Now, this happened in the Yellow Brick Road area,
Yeah.
this ambush.
Yeah.
Get the case on?
Oh yeah, we got the case on. I had to lead a patrol down into an area one day. I led the patrol down there and did everything we were supposed to do. Come back, didn't find nothing. 4 or 5 days later, Alpha Troop took their tanks down there and it got massacred. Found the underground hospital. We walked all over the top of it. One of the guys, when we go to reunion, he'd been in the country a month, 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. He was going to shoot a snake one day, and I said, he's not bothering us. I said, no. If we'd shot that snake, we might have been massacred too.
Have any contact with the local people?
I didn't know, very little. They had some when we come in that worked around Don Hall there. We'd see some there, but very few.
Did you work with the Arvins?
Yeah, we always had an Arvin or two.
Okay. What about the Rocks?
The what?
The Rocks, South Koreans.
No, never seen them.
Okay.
I heard they were some fighting machines. That's all I ever knew about them.
Were the Arvins good fighters?
I was never around. What we have were scouts. They call them scouts.
Yeah.
But as far as the Arvins, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. What are the monsoons?
Pardon?
The monsoons.
What was that? Oh,
Monsoons.
monsoon, just rainy season, rain. Gosh, it's about 2 months, about a month and a half, nothing but every day it rains. It rains. Some days it may rain hard, and other days it just, like before we went to Quezon, it 4 or 5 days it just grizzled. About a week and a half it just grizzled. You know, it's miserable. You're wet. There's no way to dry out. Some of the tanks had heaters in them, but not very many. I think 1/8 or no, maybe 1/8. It had a heater in it, and that's only one. PCs had no heaters. It's just miserable. One of the guys, my driver, Lance Johnson, he thought we got into the lawn side early one day, and it kind of quit raining.
Got where?
Got into a run site,
Right.
or CP, before we was going to spend the night.
Okay.
And he thought, he got his shovel behind the tank. We always put a tarp back, and he built it up about 6 inches. Thought, we'll stay dry. That water, it started raining, that water just seeped in. We was just as wet as we'd been laying on the ground.
How were you resupplied out there?
The helicopters.
Okay.
The helicopters, if we needed ammo, we'd call it in. There was a time period in there, they bring hot meals out once a day. But there's a time period in there after we first went on that operation, we didn't get none. And then later they started bringing hot meals. Again, they wasn't very hot, but they put them in Mermite or whatever the cans. Some of them were warm, but
Didn't have hot meals. You had what? Sea rations.
sea rations, that was it. Some of them sea rations, the older ones, World War II ones, were better than what we were normal. They were better.
How long in Vietnam?
I was there 12 months, 7 days.
12 months and 7 days. What's your most vivid memory of Vietnam?
It's just a place I don't never want to go back.
What's your best memory of Vietnam?
Oh, I think the best memory when I got on that plane and we 30,000 feet and knew we were gone. The worst memory was sitting in the airport of Tokyo waiting for a pilot to sober up so he'd take us home. Oh, there was good times, don't get me wrong. And there was bad times.
Okay. Now, when you were out, how many Sheridans did you have out when you were
3.
out? 3.
We had 3 Sheridans, a mortar crack, and 6 PCs.
Now, when you were out at night, what kind of position did you set up?
We set up with Sheridan. If we had all 3 Sheridans, like you set a Sheridan in 2 PCs, another Sheridan, 2 PCs. They just kind of worked around. The mortar crack always set in the center. And it never was on line.
What about rocket attacks and mortar attacks?
Do what?
Rocket attacks and mortar attacks.
We never took no incoming rockets or more,
Okay.
other than RPGs.
Okay.
And that was an ambush.
Yeah. How many rounds could you carry for the big gun in the Sheridan?
You know, I say 17, but that may not be right.
Now, when you fired a round, what did you do with the casing?
There was no casing.
No casing.
Paper.
Paper.
Yep. It burned up.
Yep. Okay. And you left Vietnam from Benoit?
No, I left from Da Nang.
Da Nang. Okay. When you getting on the airplane coming home, what were you thinking?
Just getting out of there. You know, it's time to go, I'm going.
When did you leave Vietnam?
I left Vietnam on June, June the 7th, 71.
1970. Did you know Vietnam was going to fall?
No, I agree. At least we thought after Operation Lam Son, we did everything we needed to do to stop it. But no, we thought we had pretty well cut the Ho Chi Minh Trail in two. And, but yeah, it was 3 more years, 2 more years before they got resupplied, before they could take it.
Why were we in Vietnam?
You know, that's always been a good question. The question I always heard was to stop the spread of communism. But there's more to it than that. And still a lot of people don't know the real reason we was there. They wake up and look at what's going on over there right now with 2 nuclear subs sitting at the border between China and North Vietnam or Vietnam. Yeah, they all figured that out pretty quick. That country is one of the richest oil fields in the world. And that ocean in front of it the same way. I'm surprised we're not back over there.
Yeah. So you landed, when you came home, where'd you land in the States?
We come in, first we went to Anchorage, played over there an hour or 2, and then we come into Seattle.
Seattle.
What's the name of that port out there?
Fort Lewis.
Fort Lewis, Washington.
Getting off the airplane in Seattle, what'd you do?
Well, the thing we done was in Anchorage. Guys got down and rolled in the ground, hugged the dirt. You know, you thought about it in Japan, but when you got to Anchorage, you knew you was home.
Any protesters in Seattle?
They pretty well kept us away from them.
Okay.
A lot of the guys, when we landed in Seattle, went on straight home. They didn't go to the base. Some of them were on orders to go home, and there was only, now maybe we all went to the base, but we went different areas. Red, I don't know where he wound up.
Who? Red?
Red guy I met in Tokyo.
Okay.
He come back together, and we pretty well stayed together until we got back to Fort Lewis. And he was from, I'm thinking he was from Oakland. I never heard from him again. And I was hoping we'd come back through Oakland, because going over, I went out a couple of days early and went to see my uncle and one aunt. Coming back, I was told them I'd come back to see my uncle and both my aunts.
Yeah.
They lived out there around, she was Aunt Lena, I'm not sure, she lived down a little farther something, and then Uncle Spia's, Uncle Ferdinand, and gosh, I can't even remember Mother Aunt.
Was that in the Seattle area?
Pardon?
They live in the Seattle area?
No, they lived in the Oakland area,
Oakland area.
San Francisco.
Okay.
Now Aunt Lena, I think she lived on down towards L.A.
Yeah.
or San Diego or somewhere.
After you got your discharge, what'd you do?
I got on the plane, I come home.
To Edna?
Yep. I come home through Kansas City, and I stopped to see my sister, and well, my sister picked me up in Kansas City, and we went to her house, and Mom and them come there and picked me up.
Okay.
And went home. Went back to work.
Where'd you go to work?
Went back to work for Union Pacific Railroad.
How long you worked for them?
40 years.
40 years.
Yep.
When did you come to Copan?
Been here six years.
Why'd you come to Copan?
Well, that's a long story. Well, a short story, really. One of my friends I worked with owned this house.
Yeah.
And my son owned the place over here. I didn't know. One day run into him down here, and he says, I live over there, and he said, guy lived across behind me, and he told me where he lived, and I said, well, my son lives behind you. So we got to come over one day and visit with him. He said, I'm thinking about downsizing. I said, when you get ready, let me know. Well, went on, gosh, what, 6-8 months, Grandma? And one day I was getting ready to come down here and go fishing. Phone rang. He said, well, you need to come by. So I come by and he put a price on it, I bought it. Mm-hmm. They sold the place up there, and here we are.
Yep. Would you join the Army again?
Would I join the Army again? No.
Okay.
I wouldn't join. They'd have to draft me.
Yeah. I'd like to do a word association. I'll give you some words and you give me your reaction.
All right.
The first one is basic training.
Not much.
AIT.
AIT, it's not much different. Basic training, I understand now see, when I went in, they went through an era there where we didn't have to get up at 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. They getting up at 4:30 and 5 o'clock, it was out. Basic training, you got up a little early in basic training because there's a lot more of us there, and we had a lot of different areas to cover. Mm-hmm. AIT. Sheridan School, we never got. Sheridan School is just like going to college. You got up and went to class. Mm-hmm. When that was over, you went to eat, and that was it.
Sheridan.
Fine machine.
Vietnam.
Vietnam, a place I don't ever want to visit.
Operation Lam Son.
A bloody mess.
Sergeant Hudson.
Sergeant Hudson, I'd like to know what happened to him. He's a grand guy.
Mm-hmm. Ho Chi Minh.
Ho Chi Minh. I really don't know too much about Ho Chi Minh other than he was the leader over there in the north. The one that I knew the most about was that general, one-armed general. And I've seen him several times.
Who is this?
I don't know what his name is.
Yeah.
He just had one arm.
Mm-hmm. Was he general of the 9th Infantry?
He was North Vietnamese general.
Oh, North Vietnamese. Oh, okay.
They had him on TV every now and then.
Yeah. Lyndon Johnson.
Lyndon Johnson would have run, we would have never lost that war. There's a lot of propaganda they have on now about Lyndon Johnson, but no, we wouldn't. If he would have got president elected again, we would have never lost that war.
Richard Nixon.
Coward.
How do you want to be remembered?
Just be remembered as a hard worker and honest man.
Where'd you meet your wife?
Her? Where'd I meet you at, Grandma? At Coffeyville?
Yeah,
Coffeeville?
Yeah.
riding up and down the street.
Yeah, riding up and down that
Chasing
street.
you, you said.